Hello, in this video I'd like to cover how you would go about setting it up so a small group of users could add and edit Worldox field table codes right from the Worldox client rather than having to go into WD-admin to do that. So we're going to start out in WD-admin. The first thing we need to do is check the cabinets that you want the users to add or edit the field table codes to. So I'm going to go into cabinets. And in this example, I'm just going to cover the client files cabinet, but you would repeat this process on any other cabinets that you wanted them to have that capability to add and edit the field tables. So I'm just going to edit my client files cabinet. And what I want them to have access to is to add or edit client matter and doc type codes in this case. So what I'm going to do is from this option menu, I'm going to hit the drop down and I see add edit table and just choose that selection. And you want to make sure that these items are checked. Now notice I don't have them checked by the author and typist because the author and typist is linked to your Worldox user list, so that's not really a table. That's just reading the contents of the user list. So you would never check these boxes for fields like author and typist. But in this case, for client matter doc type, I want to make sure these three are checked. Now if I do click on the settings button, it's going to be called something else under settings. So if I go under settings, it's item number 5, shared table can be edited. That's what it's called in here, but when I'm looking at it through here, it's just called add edit table to give you that capability to see it in a shorter syntax. So once you make sure those are checked, then go ahead and save it. I don't have to save mine because mine was already set up that way, but if yours aren't checked, check those, hit save. Now we need to move on to group security. So I'm going to leave my cabinets. I'm going to go into group security. And the first thing I want to do is I need to block certain features or make sure certain features are already blocked from the group everyone. So with everyone highlighted in the left panel, I'm going to choose features in the center panel and I'm going to scroll down until I see a class called table. And right here I see table add, table delete, and table edit. What I want to do is right now, you see the blue gears, so they're allowed. I want those blocked. So I'm going to check those three and click on the block button, continue, and I want those now blocked from everyone. So if I'm in the everyone group, blocked, and I now scroll down to tables, I see table add, delete, and edit, now blocked from all the users. Now what I want to do is I want to create a new security group in WD-admin. So I'm going to make sure that everyone is highlighted in the left. Don't have one of your subgroups highlighted. Make sure everyone is highlighted. Then click the create button. And I'm going to call this group table add edit. And I'm going to click OK. Now that group is highlighted. So make sure you have that group highlighted off to the left. And then we're going to go to features. And I'm going to add a few features to this. So I'm going to scroll back down to those tables. And I'm just going to check table add and table edit. I typically don't let the end users have the delete permissions from the Worldox client. If they need a code deleted, typically I'll just have them go to the Worldox administrator and have the administrator go into WD-admin and delete it. That way it makes you think about, do we really want to delete this code? It also prevents the accidental deletion of codes by them having that capability from the client. So I'm just going to check table add and table edit. Now there's one more that I'm going to check. I'm going to scroll up near the top where I have these add edit public options, and I'm going to look for add edit public table fields. I'm going to check that one as well, and now I'm going to click on the allow button for the 3 checked and continue. Now if I highlight table add edit in the left, features allowed, I see these 3 options right here are allowed. Now what we need to do is we need to add the users that we want permissions to be able to do this from the Worldox client. Typically, you're just going to have a very small group of users that you're going to allow to do this. This isn't something you want to have a majority of your users doing because then your table codes are going to get messed up and out of hand. You want to restrict who has access to do this in your system. So I'm going to click on Add Users, and I'm going to choose the 2 users that I'm going to allow to do this. Now that I've done that, I need to click on the Save button. And now it should be set up. Now when those users reboot their PCs and log back in or restart their Worldox client, it'll pick up these changes, and then they'll have that within the interface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and exit out of WD admin and then log back in as one of those 2 users and show you how this works. Okay, I've now logged in as one of those users that's a member of that table add edit group in group security. And the first thing I'll show you is underneath their edit menu, what those users will see is edit field tables. That's from that add edit public field table feature that we gave them. And if we choose that, it'll launch this dialog box where you can select the cabinet from the drop down. Then once you select the cabinet, you have access to their field table. So if I wanted to add a new client code, I could just click on client. It'll bring up the table. From here, you can hit the add button, type in the code in the description and click OK to save it. Or if you want to edit the description of existing code. Now with editing, you can't actually edit the code. You can only edit the description. So once the code is set up in Worldox, you need to leave the code the way it is. Now when you're dealing with a linked list such as client matter, in order to add a new matter code, first you'd select the client. So you'd go into the client, select the client. Once you've selected the client, then click on matter. And now when you click the add, notice it'll have this option here linked to the particular client that's already selected in this screen. If you don't select a client and you just add a matter, it'll add it to every single client within your system. And usually that's not what you want to do. You want to add a matter to a specific client. So select the client first, and then from here, I type in my matter number and my matter description, click OK, and now it's added. It's added just to that particular client. And now with doc type, it's the same as client. You just click on the doc type button, hit the added button, type in your doc type code and description and click OK and save it. Or if you want to edit the description of an existing doc type code, just highlight it and hit the edit button and then change the description and save it. So that's how the users would get in to that edit field table. Now they can also edit the field tables from other areas they have access to. For example, if you go into direct access and I click on the client button here, notice I have my add and edit buttons here. Same thing if I click on matter, I have them here. So you'll also see those in other areas where you have access to your field tables. But if you're just intent on I just need to add a new code to a particular field table, then probably the easiest thing to do is just click on the edit menu, go into your field tables, and bring the edit field tables dialog box up and access it that way. Okay, so that's how you would go about granting a small group of users the capability to add and edit field table codes right from the Worldox client.